Have you ever wondered why you buy things that you don't necessarily need, only to regret those purchases later? We're showing you the emotional side of spending and how to avoid those bad habits without restricting yourself.
We don't always buy things because we need or even want them. Sometimes we buy things because of the way the purchase makes us feel.
A lot of the choices you make are all emotional, not logical, which is why just creating a budget for yourself isn't enough to stop yourself from overspending.
There are two main causes to emotional overspending, one being stress and the other being social pressure. For stress, shopping can feel like a great outlet. It can give you a quick mood boost and you might get something fun. But the problem with this is that the happiness you get from shopping or making a purchase is temporary, but the spending and the expenses that result are permanent.
There's also fear of missing out on other social pressures. You're always going to be scrolling through social media, seeing people with brand new clothes, on vacations, and having the newest gadgets. And it can make you feel like you're missing out on something.
Understanding why you buy things is the first step to controlling your spending.
Social media is always making you feel like you have to keep up, like how we mentioned before with the clothes, the experiences, and the new gadgets.
Comparison is the thief of joy, and social media platforms capitalize on that. Social media shops or ads online create a sense of urgency around sales and deals, and even a sense of FOMO when we fear that we're going to miss out on a product or a deal. Think of all the time sales you see while scrolling on Instagram.
So why does it work? Let's say you're scrolling through social media and you see something that's 50% off. Suddenly, you're really enticed to want to spend your money on that product even though you were never in the market for it before. This is because the thrill of the deal is making you want to spend your money because it feels like you're saving money. Let's say, for example, a pair of shoes is 50% off, but they normally go for $100. You were never in the market for a pair of shoes before seeing that, but once again, the thrill of the deal is what's enticing you to spend your money on that. But the reality of this is that the company originally intended to sell those shoes for 50% off because they're still making a profit on it, and it's a marketing tactic for them to get you to want to spend money on the product.
To counteract this, stop focusing on the discount or the sale, and instead ask yourself, do I really need this right now? Will I use this in the future, or is it going to sit in my closet unused? Focus on the true value of the item and what you'll actually gain from it. Here are some ways to avoid impulse spending. The first being the 24-hour rule. Before you make any unplanned purchases, wait a full day. This helps separate emotional decisions from real wants and needs. Will you still want this purchase in a day?
Also, unsubscribing from marketing emails. Brands are always going to be creating a sense of urgency for their product, and so removing the temptation from the start by simply hitting unsubscribe is the way to go.
Lastly, never save your payment information. This is great for security, but it also means that each time you make a purchase, you'll have to manually enter your card information and think about if the purchase is really one you should be making.
Many people shop when they're stressed, sad, or even bored. The goal for yourself should be to find things that occupy your time and emotions without feeling like you have to spend money.
Purchases don't address the root cause of a feeling. Redirecting your energy into low-cost hobbies or activities provides a healthier outlet that doesn't involve spending. So what things do you enjoy? I think so often we get caught up on scrolling on social media, going through the day-to-day of work, life, maybe even school. If you have kids, it can be overwhelming, and I think we don't often sit down and think about the things that really make us excited to be alive. So what things do you enjoy?
Of course, everyone is different, so find out what works for you. But the goal should be to shift to something that feels rewarding without having to spend money.
Now we're going to talk about some simple budgeting tricks to help control your emotional spending. The first being reallocating funds. Instead of cutting spending completely, reallocate it.
As we mentioned in our previous video on budgeting, if you tend to spend a lot of money on fast food when you're stressed, instead reallocate it towards meal prep ingredients to help you save over time. And another really good trick could be using cash and debit instead of always using credit cards. Credit is debt, and it can be very positive for you if you use it in a good way, but it can very easily become bad debt if you don't have a plan to repay it.
Studies show we spend more when using credit because it doesn't feel like real money. Building a line of credit is important, but make sure to have a plan for the purchases you make using a credit card. If there's a potential sale or impulse purchase, avoid using credit.
And as we mentioned before, you always have to be aware of marketing tactics and always lessen the impact that social media pressures have on you.
And for both of these, a lot of it is about shifting your mindset. Think about how many hours of work something is worth. I've noticed when many people start their first job, they're often blown away by how expensive things are, especially after tax. When making purchasing decisions, but really any decision, make sure to use a healthy balance of your emotions and logic.
Emotions can drive impulse spending, but recognizing the triggers like stress and fear of missing out can help you make more intentional decisions in your life.
Take a moment before buying and be mindful of marketing tactics. Small adjustments can make a big difference.
Try some of these strategies and let us know what worked for you in the comments.
Make sure to check out our socials on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and check out our website where we have blogs and even more resources.
We've got more ways to help you invest in yourself coming soon.